Welcome back to this mangy little hole in the Underdark that I call home. The Driders have scuttled away for now, so I think we have enough time for another Idiot's Guide. This episode will be about everyone's favorite units, the Jagens. Because we all love those, don't we? The Jagen is a classic archetype of Fire Emblem units that has been around since the first game. It is named after Sir Jagen from Fire Emblem Shadow Dragon and the Blade of Light. The role of a Jagen character is to be an early game pre-promote that usually serves as the Lord's advisor or mentor while acting as a bit of a crutch for the player during the earlier chapters of the game, with the offset to the early game stats being that they begin to fall out of usability fairly quickly as other units get stronger and they can't catch up. Now, there are two different traps, or as Mako would call them, pitfalls, for newbie players to fall into while using their Jagen. Overuse of the Jagen to clear entire maps, and not using the Jagen at all. They're still usable for sure, just don't overuse them. Now, I'll be going over a few of the Jagens throughout the series, and only Jagens. Not pre-promotes that are meant to be Jagens but were way too strong, like Seth. I will also only be going over one Jagen of each class, so don't wind up repeating myself by talking about paladins over and over and over again. The first we'll be going over is the classic, the original Jagen, Sir Jagen. He's the original crutch character mentor, and is an old knight of Atlia in service to Prince Marth. He's a paladin, which gives him good movement and access to multiple weapon types, and that's about it. This old knight really begins to show his age longer the game goes on, so much so that the DS remake of Fire Emblem 1 even warns about this in one of the houses you can visit in the prologues. For our second Jagen, we'll be skipping ahead to Fire Emblem Thracia 776. Mamilla save us all! This game gave us the Swordmaster Avel. She's a member of the starting party in Chapter 1, and unlike most Swordlock units, Avel has access to a ranged option! This comes in the form of a magic blade called the Flame Sword, which can function as both a normal melee weapon and can cast fire at range. Now you can barbecue foes while keeping that sweet, sweet distance! Unfortunately, she doesn't stay in your party for very long, which is quite the shame, and by the time she comes back, she really isn't worth using anymore. It's time for yet another massive jump, all the way to Fire Emblem Radiant Dawn! It's also time for Thief Jagen, also known as Sode. Now, Sode initially appeared in Path of Radiance as a pretty shitty thief, but Radiant Dawn gave the young man a pretty huge buff. He's upgraded from useless to good for the first act, then trash for the rest of the game. But hey, what you gonna do when you've got proficiency in knives? Yeah. Next in line is Frederick from Fire Emblem Awakening. Frederick is a great knight, and unfortunately he isn't as fantastic and amazing as someone like Dusel in Sacred Stones. No, sadly he fits the role of Jagen about as well as one can, down to once again being a cool and calm advisor to the main lord, Chrom in this case. He's very vanilla and by the numbers, but hey, so is Awakening, so I guess he fits right in. The final Jagen I'll be discussing today is Jacob from Fates. This young man serves as the butler to Corrin, and as his vanilla class, he's not good. Sure, having access to both the ranged option and staves is great and all, but his stats and growth just don't benefit the butler class, and if you plan on using him long term, especially in Conquest, it's best to just reclass him into a Great Knight or Dread Fighter. Or don't. I'm not going to bend all be all in this nonsense. But hey, that'll about do it. I hope you found this look over entertaining or even helpful, and I look forward to you visiting my little hole in the Underdark next time!